Sankhara Pijaya Vinyanam. Because of Sankhara, as condition, there arise Vinyana. So this is a link where condition really means producing cause. So in this link, Sankharas produce Vinyana. So Sankhara, you know, three kinds of Sankhara: Punyabi Sankhara, Apunyabi Sankhara, and Aninjabi Sankhara. Sankharas are just volition, cetana, synonymous with karma, wholesome or unwholesome. Vijnana and citta are synonymous. So when we recite the four foundation, citta, cettanupasi, viharati, here vijnana and citta are synonymous, and both are translated as consciousness. So there are 89 or 121 types of consciousness, but this second link does not take all of them. In order to understand this point, we need to understand the four kinds of consciousness: kusala, akusala, vipaka, and kiriya. Kusala, wholesome; akusala, unwholesome; vipaka, resultant; and kiriya, functional. So functional consciousness actually means the same as wholesome consciousness, but they are so called because they lack the power to give results. So you understand that kiriya, the functional, is for arahants. Arahants all the time do wholesome, but they lack the power to give results. So out of these four, only the vipaka, resultant kinds of consciousness, are taken here as vijnana. Since this link is to explain the result of karma, result of sankhara, here the question is, we have to take any resulting consciousness or only certain kinds of them. And some books say that only the Paticcasamuppāda citta, relinking or rebirth consciousness, should be taken here. But with Sodhimagga, the path of purification, commentaries includes all types of resulting consciousness. You have to take as vijnana. So to understand the resultant consciousness here, we have to divide our life into two parts. So our life, the first part is the moment of rebirth consciousness. That is Paticcasamuppāda Kala, or the first consciousness in our life. And the second part is the rest of life, Paticcasamuppāda. So the first consciousness arises, relinking consciousness arises at the very moment we are conceived in our mother's womb. It is the direct result of our previous karma. Afterwards, the same kinds of resultant consciousness by the name of Bhavinga Citta, life continuum, recurs for the rest of life whenever there are no active consciousness thoughts. And also there are other kinds of resultant consciousness, Chakku Vijnana, seeing consciousness. Seeing consciousness is a result of our past karma, but cannot arise at the moment of our relinking consciousness. So it is kusala and akusala. Sometimes you see good or beautiful, that means that is the result of your good karma. But sometimes when you see bad or ugly or undesirable, that means that is the result of your bad karma. And the same is true with the hearing, smelling, tasting and touching. So, when they are the result of past karma, and should also be included in the consciousness factor in this second link. Although they don't arise at the moment of the relinking consciousness in life. So you remember there are altogether 32 types of resultant consciousness, and that should be taken as vijnana here in this second link. Dependent origination is a very difficult teaching that even the famous commentator, Venerable Paticcasamuppāda, was hesitant about the teaching when he began to write the commentary in this subject. So Venerable Paticcasamuppāda said, when I tried to write the commentary on this subject, I do not get a foothold and feel as if plunged into the ocean. He said, the ocean is so deep that we cannot get a foothold in this big ocean. In the same way, this subject is so deep that the great commentator had felt hesitant when he tried to write the commentary. So we have to study, we have to listen the teaching by the explanation of the old commentary and commentary, and also yogis are practicing meditation, so you may understand this teaching theoretically and practically. So in this link between sankhara and vijnana, between karma formation and consciousness, the karma formation belongs to one life and the consciousness belongs to another life. If karma formation belongs to this life, then consciousness will belong to the next life. And if karma formation belong to the next life, then consciousness will belong to the life after next. So it is important to understand how these two factors are related and how karma formation produces consciousness in the next life. It is also necessary to understand how death takes place in one life and rebirth in another life. It is a very difficult subject. We become aging, and finally we die. And when we die, when that occurs in one life after another, there is death consciousness, Chuti Chaita, along with all the mind and body processes cease together. Although all mind and body processes cease, if our mental defilements are not yet extinguished, and then due to wholesome and unwholesome karma, or sankara, the relinquishing consciousness arises. So when relinquishing consciousness arises, it's along with a new mind and body process. So it is necessary to understand this. If we do not understand this, then we may think and believe that when we die, the self and soul in this life move onto the next life. It does not really disappear. Only the self or soul move onto the next life. So if we believe in this way, this is eternalist view, Sassata Deity. Or if we think and believe that when we die, everything die, another life will not happen again. After this life, there is nothing left. In these days, materialists think in this way. So according to the Buddha teaching, this belief is called a nihilist view, Ocheda Deity. Why this kinds of wrong view occur? Because people do not understand the relationship between cause and effect at the moment of death. But in daily life, it is obvious that sometimes we have pleasant feeling, sometimes we have unpleasant feeling. Feeling, Vedana. Why Vedana arise? Because we have eyes, and then the visible object come. Visible object sometimes desirable, sometimes undesirable, and then visible object come to the avenue of the eye sensitivities, and then eye contact, and then because of the eye contact, there arise unpleasant feeling. And when desirable object, there arise pleasant feeling, and then craving or attachment arise. So in our life, that relationship is clear, but because the arising of a new life after death is invisible, it cannot be seen, it is not obvious. So people can fall into the nihilist view that after death nothing is left. So Venerable Lady Sayādaw called this point regarding the transition between existences a large field in which wrong view can arise. So Sayādaw said in this way. Even for the educated people, it will be difficult for these educated people who rely only on their intellectual reflection and believe only in their own evidence to accept this point. In these days, if you study the materialist ideas, you can even become followers of them. But here, for the meditators who have practiced meditation so that vipassana knowledge arises strongly, this relationship becomes clear with their own knowledge. So for yogis who continuously noting the presently arising mental and physical phenomena, they can see clearly. So they can pick up the units of consciousness, and these consciousness arise without a break and disappear very clearly. Yogi can see how, and after one unit of preceding consciousness dies, another succeeding unit of consciousness arises. So some yogis see clearly. So they can see again how when this unit of consciousness dies again, and another unit of consciousness arises after that consciousness unit. So in this way, yogis see for themselves how mind movements like sea beats occur without a pause, one by one, ever new and new, as though they are in a line. Yes, in the beginning, yogi mind is not very stable, and they try to note very precisely, and their mind becomes calm down and concentration getting strengthened. And then they start to understand the mind and body process very well, and then they start to comprehend the mind-body process, and they come to see these objects as impermanence, suffering, and non-self. They start to see the beginning, the middle, and the end of the process thoroughly. So that stage is samasana jnana. Samasana jnana, knowledge of comprehension, the physical and mental process, and unsatisfactory nature, etc. And when yogi keep on noting, yogi start to see the Uddiyabhya Jnana, knowledge of arising and passing away. So at that time, yogi have experienced it for themselves, and they can report the teacher very clearly. So roughly speaking, starting from the Paticcasamuppāda Jnana, knowledge of cause and effect, yogi can understand the cause of death consciousness and relinking consciousness very clearly. So the process are the same. When we are dying and death consciousness arise and another relinking consciousness arise, so that process are similar to the meditators' present experience of mind and body. So normal yogi, ordinary yogi, they reach this stage within few weeks. Sammasana Jnana and Uddiyabhya Jnana, knowledge of comprehension and knowledge of rising and disappearing. And they report not only one mental unit, many mental units they report. Yes, it is true, not only one mental unit, many things you can pick up. And then yogi understand this way, in this life, dying is just like a mind moment which must be noted and which disappear. While noting and observing, just like the mind moment which are disappearing now, my final consciousness will also disappear, and a new life will arise, just like the ever newly arising consciousness which are being observed and known now. Dying is just one final moment of consciousness, and the arising of a new life is just the very first unit of consciousness, only one mind moment. Yogi can know and come to understand and this mental process very clearly. Yes, if we do not practice meditation, we cannot see in this way. As for ordinary people who have no inside knowledge, they do not know mind and body process, they cannot find out the mental unit. So ordinary people think that from a young age up to now, only one mind exists. So they think that only one person exists and only one body exists. The mind from before is the same mind as now. It is me, it is I. They think like this. The mind which is knowing now is the same mind. They think that I am a single person. So there is clinging to atta, clinging to self, clinging to soul. It is atta deity. And all of those people who are who have no knowledge think like this, and they cling to this view. Even among Buddhists, this clinging to self still exists among those people who have little knowledge. So, concerning the Abhidhamma, those who have more worldly knowledge can accept it a little more easily. So even then, in those people who are inclined to wrong views can stay believe in that wrong view of self. And Ditthi Asaya, that is inclination to wrong views, that means belief in self because of the attachment to self in many lifetimes. So that kind of attachment to self lies latent in their mind again and again. So even though some yogi, some very superficial yogi, they are practicing vipassana meditation, and they can sometimes still fall into this wrong view and clinging. Yes, we understand you practice superficially and your knowledge is not yet mature. So for ordinary people, and they only think according to this view, and for the whole life, for the whole existence. So they think that only one mind exists and only one I exist. But here every day yogi report many states of mind. They notice, they recognize very good. Many rupa, many unit of rupa you report very good. Many sensations you report very clearly because you are observing. So your understanding is totally different from ordinary people. So ordinary people, they do not practice and they do not observe the mind and body process, and they think when they die, the body will die and the body will move onto another place. So this is delusion about death. Delusion means not knowing and knowing wrongly. This is called avijja. So when beings die with this delusion, if they think that everything completely disappears, then a nihilist belief arises. If they think that they will move on to another life, another place, another body, then eternalist view arises. Then if a new life arises, they will think that a new being will arise. Being from another way, we move on and come to be a new body. It is delusion regarding rebirth. So if they have this delusion, if they think that after the soul move on to another place, it will exist in a new body, then eternalist view will arise. Some people think that after the body becomes mature, knowing consciousness will arise. It arises by itself, then it is belief in no cause, ahituka, no cause. Belief in no cause will arise. If they think that devas, sakas, brahmas, creators or gods will give us a soul, then it is belief in wrong cause. It will arise. And people deluded in samsara. Samsara means the process of mind and body. Samsara means the process of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching and knowing, or mental and physical phenomena arising one after another, ever changing and ever new. So this is samsara. So we should not be deluded in samsara. So if people do not know this correctly, then they think and believe that a soul or a being, after exiting from this life and this body, soul will exist in a new life and in a new body. After leaving another life and another body, it will move on into this life and this body. So that is the eternalist view. Only soul move on from that life to this one, and this belief is that the soul never dies. So mostly we know that the dying corpse will be destroyed. Even then, some people cling to the corpse as though there is still life remaining in it. Some people believe that after some time it will come to life again. So they take care of the corpse resourcefully with tender care. So that is wrong view and clinging. So regarding this point, Vijnana arises due to Sankhara. Venerable Lady Sayādaw stated that this is the large area in which wrong view can arise. Now yogi have a very good chance to clear all kinds of wrong belief, wrong doubt. It is the only way by observing the mind and body appearing and disappearing continuously. So if you can see mind and body appearing and disappearing very clearly, you can understand the death and rebirth. You can understand their process more detailed, and all the wrong view can be removed. So we will continue tomorrow. We have to stop our we'll continue next time. We have to stop our discourse for today. By practicing vipassana meditation, by observing every phenomena occurring at the six senses continuously and meticulously, may you understand the process of samsara, may you understand the death and rebirth in this present life, may you be liberated from all suffering, may all yogis realize the real peace in the very near future. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.